everybody, this is Miss Bailey with the Knox County Public Library Tutor Team, and I'm here today with another kindergarten and first grade academic standards reading video lesson. So these reading video lessons that cover kindergarten and first grade standards are specifically coverage of phonological awareness skills. These are the standards that are highlighted in the video lesson and fit kind of a coverage of both grade levels, kindergarten and first grade. If you are interested in looking at additional grade level specific academic standards, you can visit the doe.in.gov website listed here for additional standards for kindergarten and first grade, as well as other content areas, and including all grade levels. So before we get started with the lesson, I like to go over some ideas for parents on how to modify these videos to best fit their learner. We don't all learn the same, and we're not all on the same level of readiness. And so the way that I have these organized, these tips are by the purple dots. And so the one purple dot represents the easiest modification. This might be if your learner needs to kind of take a step back before completing the video lesson. If they're not really finding that they can complete the whole video lesson with ease, or maybe they're feeling good about parts of the video lesson, these are kind of breaking it down and into smaller pieces. Letter formation is always very important, no matter where your learner's at. So I do have that highlighted here with the correct formation of letters. I know I've said this before, but it's very important. You might notice that your learner has beautiful handwriting, but if you pay attention to the way they form their letters, you might notice that they might be putting a little too much effort into how they are creating or forming the letter, and that's kind of slowing them down. And I find as a teacher that really kind of discourages the students to feel comfortable with their writing, and they might shy away from writing as much as they can actually think of because they're having to put so much thought and effort into forming those letters. So this is the best way to form those letters with the fewest amount of, picking your pencil up, and the quickest and easiest way to form them. So here are some additional modifications. Again, with these are the easiest modifications that I have here with the one purple dot. These again are actually just some of the exercises that we do in these reading videos, just kind of practicing that on a more zoomed in approach. These tips are for learners who are finding a good fit in these videos, and for learners who are actually ready to have more of a challenge in the videos. So parents, if you want to pause and take a look at these tips for differentiation, you're more than welcome to. We are going to go ahead on. Your learner will need a pencil and a piece of paper. You'll see this symbol when those materials are needed. All right, guys, we're ready to get started with our warm-up. We're actually going to take a look at what good readers, writers, and spellers look and sound like before we get warmed up, because I want all of you to understand that no matter where you're at with your reading, writing, or spelling, you are a good reader, writer, and speller. So here are some of the things that I look for when I see my students and learners being really awesome readers, writers, and spellers. So good letter formation is very important. And in lessons like this is an awesome opportunity for you to practice that good handwriting and letter formation, because a lot of what we're doing is just writing one letter at a time and really thinking and slowing down those sounds. So great time to practice that handwriting. Keep the goal in mind. Okay, that light bulb is a symbol that is a clue to you that it's a great time to think about your goal. Never give up. Okay, this one is, I think, my personal favorite, my most important. I tell my students, if they learn anything from me, that I hope that they learn and understand that it is okay to make mistakes. It breaks my heart when I see learners get discouraged and be so hard on themselves whenever they make a mistake and they think because they've made a mistake that they are not smart or they're not good at whatever skill they're working on. That is not true. Mistakes are proof that you're trying, and that mistakes are a great learning opportunity for you to, take a deep breath, slow it down, and try it again. And the more you try it, the better you'll get. Think about and say the sounds. So the picture there that you see are sound deck cards. That is a reminder that you always need to be thinking about the sounds you know as you read and write. And last but not least, look for sounds everywhere. Good readers, writers, and spellers are looking for those sounds, not just when you're working on these videos with me, not just when you're working on spelling at school or at home with your teacher, but everywhere in real life, on the weekends, outside of when you are working on schoolwork. Okay, because they're everywhere in real life. That's why we learn them now, so that we know them as we go on. Okay, so let's get started here with our sound deck. Now, as we go through this exercise, please remember to trace the sounds as you are saying them. A, apple, a. B, boy, b. C, cat, k. D, dog, d. E, egg, e. F, fish, f. G, goat, g. H, hat, h. I, igloo, I. J, jam, j. K, kite, k. L, lamp, ol. M, man, m. N, nest, n. O, ox, ah. P, pig, p. Q, u, queen, qu. R, rat, r. S, snake, s. T, top, t. U, up, V, van, v. W, wagon, w. X, box, x. Y, yo-yo, y. Z, zebra, z. Great job. Now, we're going to go through those sounds that are called digraphs, where we have more than one letter that is working together to make one sound. I actually was doing a lesson with my first graders today, and one of my first graders noticed, oh, Miss Bailey, look, sh, ch, and wh. They all have H's in them, and that's true. So if you notice that, it's super cool. S-H, sh, like ship. T-H, like thumb, or th, like this. And I hope when you do that TH sound, you have your tongue between your teeth, like thumb, or th, like this. Ch, like chair, and wh, like whistle. And when you do that WH sound, that wh, like whistle, you should be blowing air out, and the shape of your mouth is kind of like you are whistling, except for you're not making that whistling sound. Okay? All right, and then the sounds that we've been working on most recently, ang, ing, ong. Today we're going to work on ung. So instead of a, I, o, ang, ing, ong, we're going to move on to putting that u in front of the ng. So ung. Whoops, we are not quite ready for visual practice. We need to go on to our nonsense word fluency practice. So friends, as we practice these, make sure that you are either stretching each sound out or chopping each sound up. So looking at that first nonsense word, I'm going to chop. Ah. And then after I chop each sound up, I slide it all together. Pack. Pack. Okay, let's go back to those words. I'm going to stay over here on the side so you can kind of see me a little bit. So the second word, you can stretch it out or chop it up. X, ep, xep, qu, og, quag, ib, sib, wud, would. Okay, now that we have stretched out or chopped up each sound of those nonsense words, let's go ahead and read them with fluency. And so when we're reading with fluency, that means we read it like we see it and we try to be as smooth as we can. Okay, not like a robot, as smooth as we can. All right, let's do this. Pack, xep, quag, sib, would. Now, and if you are still trying those out and you're noticing that you're not quite ready to say them fluently, pause this and go through them until you can say them fluently and read them fluently, and then go on. Okay, taking a look at our visual practice. So these are words that are real words. And you'll notice that you see some sounds in there that we've been working really hard on. So I see ing, ang. Can you find that with your eyes? I see like whistle. I see ch, like chair, like thumb. Okay, some of those digraphs that we've been working on, like thumb and wh and ch, you see that those sounds can be at the beginning of words and they can also be at the end. So like the last row of words, we have if, thrift, and we see that like thumb, and it's at the beginning of the word. So good readers, writers, and spellers, they look at the beginning, the middle, and the end sounds, the whole word. And looking at the next word, off, you see that that sound is at the end of the word. Okay, let's go ahead through each of these words. So looking at the first word, that's Fernie, my dog Fern. She's saying, I want to work with you too. She's ready to go. Okay, so that first word, I'm going to chop. You can chop or you can stretch. Ing. Ing. Spring. Okay. Going to the next word. Ing. Two sounds. Thing. Ing. Swing. Ang. Slang. Next row. Ang. Sprang. Ing. Thing. Whim. Isk. Whisk. Ench. Drench. Champ. Ift. Thrift. Off. Broth. Now that we have gone through and we have decoded each of those sounds, let's blend them together and read them with fluency. Again, if you're not quite ready to read all these words by yourself, pause the video and try it until you feel ready to move on. Spring, thing, swing, slang. Spring, fing, whim, whisk. Drench, champ, thrift, broth. Nice work, friends. Okay, going on to our sound bank. So you're going to need your materials, pencil and paper. We have 11 sounds, so I'll let you get that ready to go. Okay, so as we create our sound bank, it's really important that you listen for the sound that I give, and you're going to repeat the sound, and then you're going to think about it and say it as you write it. So repeat it, and then as you write it, think about it and say it. The first sound is ang. Ang. Number 2 is s, like snake. 3, wh, like whistle. 4, ch, like chair. 5, like thumb, or th, like this. So that's only one sound. It's just that that sound can make 2 different sounds. Number 6, sh, like ship. 7, eh, like egg. 8, p, like pig. 9, t, like top. 10, like nest. And the last one, number 11, is I, like igloo. Okay, let's check your work. So these are the sounds that I just gave. So if you need some time, if you thought you heard me say a different sound, it's okay. All right. Never be afraid to pause the video and take your time. These are the sounds that we're going to need for our words to spell. Okay, the words that we're getting ready to spell, they're review, and that's why we are using the sound bank. I have it up here in the corner for you so you don't forget as a reminder, because that's what it's there for. The first clue, if you are spelling a word and you make a mistake and you're like, wait a minute, that's not how I spelled it. First, look at your sound bank. Did you use a sound that wasn't in the sound bank? That's your first clue that the word is not right. Okay, so take advantage of that tool, the sound bank. As I say the word and you listen, I'm going to listen for you to repeat it. So repeat the word, then you're going to stretch it or chop it up, whichever you prefer, and then you're going to write it. So writing it is actually the last step. And so when you're writing it, I do want you to say those sounds to yourself as you're writing. Sound as you write. That helps us meet our goal of thinking of the sounds that we know as we read and write. Okay, those blanks that you see here, those are clues for you to know how many sounds are in each word. And I always tell my students to make those sound blanks, those little dashes, before they write the word so that they don't make a mistake of skipping a sound. Okay, so the first word is sit. 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 Good. It. Sit. It. So 3 sounds. Say those sounds as you write it. Number 2, thin. Thin, not thin. So that first sound's really important. Thin. Thin. Also, we don't have like fish in our sound bank. Thin. Number 3, chest. Ch, s. No. I'm sorry. Miss Bailey is ahead of herself. That is not the third word. The third word is ship. 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 I caught myself because I was looking. I thought, no, wait a minute. Chest has more than 3 sounds, but ship does have 3 sounds. Ship. Number 4 is chest. 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 Not like the game chest. That's just chest. Chest. Like you put your hand on your heart to say the Pledge of Allegiance on your chest. Chest. Number 5, pit. Repeat. Good. Pit. Now chop it up or stretch it out. Pit. Sound as you write. 6, tang. 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 So tang it can be like instead of something tasting sour, something can have a tang to its taste. Or there used to be a really good orange drink, maybe they still make it, called tang. Number 7, set. 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 Repeat it. Good. Set. Sound as you write. Number 9, whip. Whip. Repeat it. Whip. Whip. So not just plain old W, but like you are blowing air out like you would if you were whistling, but not actually making the whistling sound. Whip. Number 10, chin. 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 Thank you to my friends who are repeating these words as I say them. Go through those steps. Repeat the word, sound, stretch it out or chop it up, and then sound as you write. And the last word here that we're going to use our sound bank for is sang. Sang. Ang. Sang. 2 sounds. Ang. Sang. All right, let's check our work. Here are these words spelled correctly using our sound bank. We are going to go ahead and review the last sound that we worked on last week, ong. O-N-G, saying ong. We have 5 words here. You aren't going to use the sound bank that we just made. You're just going to use the sound bank that is in your head and that you know by heart. So use those steps. So I'm going to say the word. You need to repeat it. Repeat that word. Stretch it out or chop it up. And then you write it. So writing it is the last step. And when you're writing it, sound it as you write. When I say sound as you write, I mean say the sound as you write the letters that make that sound. Okay, number 1, pong. Like ping pong, pong. Say it. Good, pong. Ong. Each of these words is going to have that O-N-G sound, ong. I know it's 3 letters, but it's only 1 sound. Okay, I always tell my students if it's on 1 card in the sound deck, it's just 1 sound. So it only gets 1 of those sound blanks. Pong. Number 2, Kong. K-ong. Say it. Kong. Like King Kong. Kong. K-ong. Now number 3. I just get so excited. I go too fast. I'm sorry. Number 3, long. Say it. Good. Long. Now stretch it out or chop it up. Ong. Number 4, song. Say it. Very good. Song. Now stretch it out or chop it up. Ong. Say those sounds as you're writing the letters that make those sounds. And number 5 is strong. 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 Like you are strong. You can do this. You got this. You're strong. Ong. There are 4 sounds there. Now this is one that is tricky, and you, if you're not careful, you could miss a sound. So make sure you think of each sound you hear. Break it down into each sound. Write that sound. What letter says S? T. Write it. Write it. Then ong. Ong. Let's check your work. Here are those review words with our review sound ong spelled correctly. We're ready for some practice with our new phonogram. Remember, phonogram is just a word for sound. So our new sound today is ung. Ung. U-N-G. Ung. There's that light bulb symbol telling us, hey, right now is a great time to use your goal. So think about the sounds that you know. I think about the sounds I know as I read and write is our goal that we work on during these lessons. Don't forget to say the word back to me. Just normal, just say it. Then you chop it up or stretch it out. Last, you write it. And say those sounds as you write. First word, lung. Say it. Lung. Ung. 2 sounds there. All these words are going to have that U-N-G sound. Ung. Ung. Number 2, hung. Like I hung the picture. Say it. Good. Hung. Ung. Number 3, rung. Ung. 4, stung. Good. Stung. Stung. Number 5, flung. Flung. Like the ball flung across the court. Flung. Ung. And the last word here is sung. Sung. Ung. Let's check your work with our new sound. Here are the words spelled correctly. How did you do? As long as you did your best, that's what counts. Okay? We are ready for our sentences. Okay, and we'll do the sentences where you try them on your own. Okay. Here are the sentences, and the way that we do these, I give you some of the words. The words that I give you are words that I'm not worried about you spelling on your own correctly. Now, because they're given to you, you do need to spell them correctly on your own paper. But the words I really want you to think about and spell on your own are those blank dashes. Okay, those blank dashes are those sound blanks for words that we are practicing the sounds for. A lot of the times the words that I have spelled correctly for you already are words that we need to know by sight. So those sight words and high frequency words, so words that happen a lot. that we need to be able to see them and read them like that, know them by heart. It's also really good to practice noticing each of these sentences starts with a capital letter, and each of them have spaces between each word and an end mark or punctuation. Okay, all right, that first sentence is, they hung the shelf. They hung, so say the word hung, good, hung, and stretch it out or chop it up, and then write it on your own. Hung. That's got that sound in it that we worked on today. What sound says ung? They hung the shelf. Say shelf. Good. Shelf. Sh. O. F. Shelf. That's got some review sounds in it. Like ship. Okay. Anytime you need to, pause it and press play when you're ready. Sentence number 2. They stung the lad. Go ahead and repeat that whole sentence. They stung the lad. Just say it normal, then we'll slow it down. They stung the lad. They stung, so say stung. Good, stung. Think about stretching and chopping that word up into each sound. Ung. That's got that new sound in it, ung. They stung the lad, which lad is another word that could be used to say boy. They stung the lad. Lad. Number 3, they cling to the rung. They cling, like really hold on tight. Okay, go ahead and say that whole sentence with me. They cling to the rung, just say it normal. They cling to the rung. So when I hear that sentence, I imagine someone who is really holding on tight to like the step on a ladder, because a ladder has rungs. They cling to the rung. So that last word, rung, ung. Okay, and the last sentence is, we have 2 lungs. Say it just normal. Good, we have 2 lungs. So the only word that you need to spell on your own for the 4th sentence is lungs. Lungs. Let's see how you did. Here are those sentences written out, completed. Okay, good practice. Now these sentences are hard, they're challenging, friends, so the more you practice them, the easier they'll feel. Just like anything, it takes practice. We're ready to wrap it up. You guys have worked so hard today. I'm so proud of you for joining me to work on your reading, writing, and spelling skills. We've been thinking about sounds so that we can spell and read words correctly. And our goal that we're always working on with these videos for reading and phonological awareness is using what you know about sounds as you read and write. Okay, so thinking about that, don't forget that good readers, writers, and spellers stay on the lookout for sounds, those sounds we've been working on. So especially, I hope that you go and you look for those sounds ang, ing, ong, and now ung, as you're doing all of these things out in the real world. Not just when you're, at school or at home doing school or doing your homework, or I hope you're looking when you're reading on your own, when you're writing on your own. Okay, you can even do these things whenever you're listening to music or watching TV, walking around, riding your bike, riding in a car. They're everywhere. Okay, it's time for me to leave you, and I can't wait. I already can't wait to see you again. Thank you so much for coming and joining me today. The videos are always available. Our Tutor Team videos are always available on YouTube on the KCPL Tutor Team playlist. You can find videos from my good friends Mr. Frederick and Mrs. Warland that cover 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade academic standards. All right, I'll see you soon. Have a great day.